When winter rolled across the trenches of World War I, soldiers faced a brutal test of endurance. Standard-issue uniforms and blankets often weren't enough to keep frostbite at bay, and, well, ingenuity became a soldier's most valuable tool. Today, we're diving into the real techniques these men use to stay warm, methods you can study, adapt, and even apply in modern survival scenarios. Before we get into the strategies, make sure to hit subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts on these historical tactics. Soldiers turned mud and straw into insulation layers. Trenches were muddy, cold and damp, and soldiers quickly realized that layering was critical. When blankets ran thin or froze to the ground, mud mixed with straw, hay, or even grass became an insulating layer under clothing or between blankets. Mud might sound counterintuitive today, but dried mud created a barrier against wind and moisture, while straw trapped heat. Modern survivalists can apply this by using natural insulation when camping or during emergencies. Lining a sleeping area with dry leaves, pine needles or hay can dramatically reduce heat loss from cold surfaces. Paper and cardboard were treasure for warmth. Every piece of paper a soldier could salvage, letters from home, newspaper, even packaging, was carefully folded and stuffed into boots, jackets, or between layers of clothing. Paper served as an excellent dry insulator, trapping warm air close to the body. You can replicate this approach today. If you find yourself in cold conditions without proper gear, newspapers, cardboard, or even junk mail can be layered inside clothing or boots to maintain body heat. It's not just for novelty. It's an effective, accessible tactic. Boots and socks became layered for survival. Standard military boots weren't designed for extreme cold. Soldiers discovered that doubling or tripling socks, sometimes inserting dry grass or cloth between layers, reduced frostbite risk. Boots were stuffed with anything dry that could create air pockets. This was an early adaptation of modern insulated boots. For contemporary preppers, always carry extra socks and cloth strips and know how to layer effectively. Even a pair of dry cotton socks inside wool socks can create the insulating effect that kept soldiers alive in freezing trenches. Metal canisters and ration tins, actually doubled as heating devices. Tin cans from rations became multifunctional, which was quite handy. Soldiers would heat small stones or coals in them, then place the cans near their feet or under clothing layers for warmth. When used carefully, these mini heaters could radiate heat for hours. Even today, learning to repurpose metal containers safely can help in survival setups. Boiling water in a metal can over a fire and using it inside a sleeping bag, for example, really mirrors the principle soldiers used, trapping heat without risking fire directly on bedding. Old uniforms and discarded gear were, re-engineered into thermal armor. Surplus jackets, shirts, and even discarded canvas were cut, layered, or stuffed with straw, paper, or cloth scraps to create extra insulation. Soldiers often traded or scavenged pieces to patch together what amounted to highly personalized cold-weather gear. Modern survivalists can take this lesson directly. Don't underestimate the value of layering unconventional fabrics. Canvas, denim, wool scraps, or even leather can form insulating layers when applied strategically. Think of it as modular warmth, each layer adding measurable heat retention. Trench construction was adapted for heat retention. Soldiers didn't just rely on clothing, they modified their environment. Trenches were lined with planks, sandbags, or additional mud to reduce wind exposure. Dugouts were insulated with straw, wood, and even newspapers, creating pockets of warmth that could be surprisingly effective. In a modern context, this really reinforces the principle of using available materials to manipulate your environment. Insulating a tent floor with leaves or cardboard, or reinforcing a temporary shelter with windbreaks, well, it mirrors what WWI soldiers instinctively knew. Shared body heat and positioning made a difference. In the coldest nights, soldiers huddled together, strategically positioning bodies to share warmth. Sleeping in a row, head to toe, with layers of blankets and clothing between men, was a standard practice. While it may sound obvious, it's a stark reminder that in extreme conditions, even simple tactics like coordinated sleeping positions can preserve life. Preppers today can take cues from this by planning sleeping arrangements to maximize retained heat in group scenarios. Practical applications for today's survivalist. Every improvised method used in WWI has a modern parallel. Layering natural materials for insulation, repurposing metal containers for controlled heat, optimizing clothing through stuffing and layering, and modifying your environment are all strategies that translate directly to modern survival. Whether you're building a winter campsite, preparing for power outages, or simply want to understand historical cold weather tactics, these lessons are actionable and immediately applicable. By studying these soldiers' methods, we gain more than just historical insight. We unlock practical tools that can save lives today. Observing how resourcefulness and attention to detail were key in extreme conditions teaches a mindset crucial for preppers and history enthusiasts alike. Make sure to subscribe to Warfield Prepper Chronicles, like this video, and leave a comment sharing which improvisation method you found most surprising or useful. Share this guide with fellow history buffs and survival enthusiasts. These techniques are timeless and deserve to be preserved.